What's up guys, BucklingOne here and welcome to my review video of the Xbox One Elite controller. I've had this for just over a day now and I put in some serious amount of time in that day with the controller just to try and get used to it, to try and play with it. I'm going to give you my full thoughts on it at the moment now. I have to say first and foremost that I absolutely love the controller. I really enjoy using it. It's a dream of a controller to use, and I'll go through exactly why. But first and foremost, let me just give you a breakdown of the controller. You can see here, this is the configuration that I use it in. So the configuration that I use it in is on the left hand thumbstick. So I have the dome thumbstick, and then on the right I have the tall thumbstick on the right, which gives me great accuracy when aiming. I have the circular D-pad, which is pretty stock, I suppose. I like the other D-pad as well, but I suppose just for all sakes and purposes, it's nice to be able to use something a little bit different. And then I also have the trigger locks enabled as well, which are of great benefit, except there are a couple of caveats which I'll explain later. In regards to the setup on the back then, I'll just show you. On the back, so I have my 4 paddles. You can see my thumbprints all over it there, but I do have all the paddles on the back, and they're assigned to A, B, X and Y, which is quite handy for the setup that I use playing Battlefield Hardline. So the controller itself, it's a beautiful controller. Actually, I'll spin it back around again just to give you a good view of that. That grip is absolutely beautiful as well. It's a really nice grip. You can really feel the grip, which is excellent. It does have the headset port as well as the standard port as well for any of the other additions. But I absolutely love the controller. There's the trigger locks there as well. So I'll put it back down. So feel of the controller, as I've said, is smashing. The responsiveness of the sticks as well is brilliant. If you just watch this, like, they're very snappy. They come right back into place, and there's they don't come off, like the magnets don't come off themselves, which is great. I've yet to actually experience any of the buttons or things falling off the controller, which is fantastic. I thought they would, but for me they haven't so far at all, which is fantastic. Now you can customize this. There is a specific app that you can get for the Xbox One as well as a Windows 10 where you can customize the controller. I've used it a little bit, but I haven't changed the sensitivity or anything like that because I really haven't a clue what I'm doing just yet. So I will get around to doing that at some stage. You can see here as well, see this 1-2 selector, this little switch here. So switch that across and I'll switch it back to 1. So basically you can store 2 profiles on the controller. So you can switch between 2 profiles if needs be, two different customizations, so for sensitivity, for button setups and things like that. So that's something I'm going to look into as well, so I can set it up maybe for Halo. In regards to the caveats I was speaking about earlier on, there is one major drawback when playing Battlefield Hardline that I've noticed with this controller. So when you have the trigger locks on, so the hair trigger is enabled, you only push the trigger down a certain amount. So the drawback to that is, I'm not sure how they have it set up in Battlefield Hardline, but when you're using a sniper rifle or a shotgun, basically you can't shoot the gun. You have to disable the trigger locks. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe it's built into the game that it's a requirement that a trigger press takes longer with the sniper rifle and the shotgun than a normal weapon. But it is really frustrating, and I'm not entirely sure why. Could be just a design thing to stop absolute spam, probably, but it's something that is quite annoying. As well as that as well, when you're driving a vehicle in game, any vehicle whatsoever, be it a helicopter or a car or a motorbike, basically the acceleration of the triggers is you can't accelerate fully. Basically you have to be able to press the stick or the trigger all the way down to accelerate fully, which is kind of annoying as well, especially if you're in a tight situation and you want to hop into a car to kind of, you know, get out as quick as you can, especially if you're playing something like Heist and you want to just drive away as quick as you can. you can't do that basically. You need to disable the triggers, the trigger locks, which is not as easy when you're in the middle of a firefight to try and you know, figure out exactly where the trigger lock buttons are and disable them. That's my only complaint about the controller, to be honest. Everything else is just fantastic. I absolutely love it. It is a premium piece of hardware, and it's something that I will be using quite a lot. I don't think I'm going to be able to go back to a standard controller after this, especially, I'll just flip it back over again. I mean, these paddles at the back are an absolute godsend. When you first get the controller, it's very strange because it's almost like you have to learn the controller again, and it's quite confusing because you're kind of thinking, okay, which one is reload again, which one is jump. But once you actually kind of get the muscle memory almost built in, once you get used to it, it's very difficult then to go back to playing with a normal controller because your fingers are now used to pressing the buttons on the back. But they come in so handy. I mean, it's so easy to reload and knife, switch weapons and jump all on the fly, without actually having to take your fingers off the thumbsticks, which is, it's absolutely brilliant. And then, as I said before, again, I need to pay special mention to the trigger locks. The trigger locks are just brilliant. They're just, you shoot so much quicker, you can aim so much quicker as well, which is, it might be only a few milliseconds, but it is very noticeable. So in my eyes, I suppose the controller gets a 10 out of 10 from me. It does cost quite a lot of money, which is not for everybody, and it is definitely a premium piece of hardware. But the proof is in the pudding. As far as I know, this controller has sold out worldwide, so it's unavailable at the moment worldwide, not just in Ireland and the UK and the US. Like worldwide, this controller is unavailable. It's completely sold out. So that does go to say that there is a demand for something like this from Microsoft. And when you think about it as well, the price, fair enough, it's it's 150, around that price. But when you think about it, like a SCUF controller is probably about 250. So you're getting all the good features of a SCUF controller with a controller that's actually designed by Microsoft for the Xbox. So with that, you can't argue with that at all. I understand this controller is not going to be for everybody, but for the people that really do want that kind of premium controller, definitely I would advise to get this. I mean, it just looks beautiful as well. It looks absolutely beautiful. I like the black and silver finish and the black buttons as well. It's a beautiful controller. As I said already though, guys, this controller, I mean, the presentation of it, the use of it, just everything, it's absolutely smashing. It really is just an incredible controller, and it really does get a 10 out of 10 from me. If you have the money to buy it, I would highly recommend that you get this controller, if you would get the use of it. If you don't take your game seriously, if you just kind of play games just for a bit of casual fun, then this controller is probably not for you. But if you are someone who does like to take your game seriously, whether competitively or if you just want to do the absolute best that you can be, I do recommend that you get this controller, because it is an amazing controller and you won't regret it whenever you buy it. But that's it for me, guys. That's my honest review of the Xbox One controller. Absolutely delighted with it. Won't be changing it for the world. I think it's just brilliant. I've probably said that about 20 times during this video, but I really can't stress enough how brilliant it is. But yeah, that's it from me, guys. Thanks so much for watching. My name is BucklingOne, and I'll see you in my next video.